We're from Laurel Mill. I'm Marla Mize and Shamrings, and both of us don't like stand up here talking. Lisa Whitley's usually with us, and she's our backbone, but she couldn't be here. So just bear with us.
We passed out. We have our data. What we use is our TPRI, and what we do is as soon as we print it off, we look it over and see what we need to work on. And what I did is highlight it, not on your copy that I passed out, but I highlighted things that we start to look at because we realize that the children are weak in the certain areas, and we know then to start pulling them from that.
So we use the TPRI to show us, if they needed help with deleting phonemes, because the higher group, they're going to be doing something totally different, and some of them still are missing letter sounds and identifying letters. So by that, we break them up into our groups, and make a list of those who need help in the different areas, and that helps us and our TA know, when this group is with you, they should be working on rhyming words, these 3 students, or letter identification, or that.
We use this data to group the kids according to how they're doing, and the students move from one group to another, and this is how we show the differentiation. If a child starts to show improvements, we might move him ahead of time to a different group. If he's starting to show a lot of weaknesses, we'll switch him again. And we also, the teacher and assistant will pull the kids, even in other times of the day, like at the end of the day, we do a lot of times, little small groups for additional practice, and then at the end of the week, we write on their weekly report we have to send home that we write down if they're having a problem in the area, so the parent knows to give them some additional help on those areas. Another thing that we do is while they're with me at their workshops or their center, whichever way we call it, I keep notes, and if the child, suppose whatever day I was working on rhyming words, say it was October the 3rd or whatever, I keep tally marks on how they're doing. Every time they get it correct, I tally. If they just can't get it, I put an X, and if they're having a lot of problems and I can help them along, I put an H. So when I go back and look at the data again, I know that these kids are doing pretty good. I might need to move this child into a different group, or these need to be moved up to another group because they've mastered the skill and no longer need to be working in that area.
At the bottom of our lesson plans, we list, the areas and activities that each student will be doing. That way, if anybody comes in, to observe you, or you have those weekly visits, they'll be able to tell you, this group is supposed to be working on rhyming words, and this group is supposed to be blending phonemes. Okay. We have a lot of smartboard activities that we use the smartboard a lot. Miss Reams is really good. She loves to do that and loves making them, so we love having her. So we do rhyming words, letter identification, blending phonemes, and I know we brought some of the stuff that we use in class.
We just brought a few because rhyming word was one of the things, and at the very beginning, oh, I don't want you. Sorry. Whoops. Okay. At the very beginning, the child would either come up and be able to drag the pictures down to match, or if they're able already, they'll come back and take the pencil and circle the items that rhyme. And I set it up so my assistant works with the group. That way she knows if it's mastered or who needs help, and she monitors the groups.
This is another one where we use upper and lowercase letters. They can drag the lowercase letter to match the capital letter.
I know my alphabet sounds, and in this one they would look at the picture fish and look at the bottom and find the picture that does match goat. And they might have to have someone to say and help them through it. And then also have one with the letters there also. So
can I ask where you get your clip art from?
Yeah. Carson DeLoso. I love Carson DeLoso. And also Scholastic. Technically, when you buy the materials, it comes with a CD, and you can use it within your school, but you can't give it,
You can write on that notepad and stuff, it looks like, right?
Like I said, she is really good at this. Another one is I Know My Sounds, where it'll be like a picture and the beginning sound, or you could do the ending sound, not with this one, but they can circle the beginning sound. If you move the fish, it tells if they got it right.
This one's I know my beginning sounds also. This one they would come up and actually write. I cannot write for this.
I know.
Okay. And then they can also come back and check, and it's supposed to be on the little can to tell them if they were right or wrong. And I also have it with the ending sound too.
Blending word parts. This one's really good. Like this time of the year, where you can even tell them, you know, which word you could say. Okay, Charlie, you do bad. You do Sally, you do sad. Or you can have them come up there and make their own words.
I can blend these words with another one, and in this one they come up and they do with a slider. It says it different, but once they slide, they check to see did they get it correct, and the picture's under it for them.
A lot of those you have to like have your TA do, because you know they'll look at the picture first and they're like, "Oh, bus," and they do not read it. Look at what we can spell is another one where they can drag the letters down to make the word and then check.
Check to see if they got it.
Okay, see if they got it right. And then we brought some other things other than the smart board that we use. Something that Lisa Whitley likes to use in her class are these word detective sliders, and they just have like the letter and you just slide them and it'll make the word, and then if they get it right, you know, it has the picture. They really love this. I make it a game with mine, you know, to see who can sound it out fastest, and they love doing that. And then another thing that I do, I have a bag of these. They're just picture magnets. And like for the higher group, you know, I can sort them and pile, you know, give each of them 10. And the higher group, they can spell out the word to match the picture, or like the other groups, you know, do beginning sounds with the magnet or ending sounds.
Where do the picture magnets come from?
I don't, Reading First, we got them through Reading First. It's like a big box that came with letters and the pictures.
But then you can order those like the last day, because I got mine from there with picture magnets up there. We store it all handy.
I can. I can look when I get back to school. If you give me your email, I can email you.
One of the things I like to do, especially when they're learning to do like the blending word part, actually they're taped on the plate right now, so they better get off to do it. But I'll ask them to we'll sound out what this says, and then I'll ask them to each person to put a different word. That way you have to sound out your word, and then they do the little slide to say what their word is. I also do one with a 3-section plate, and this one, actually, when I get through, I use the little bitty tiles here, and I'll tell them to spell out a word, and they'll put the pieces in, or we'll put in part of it, and I'll tell them I want it to say hat, what would they need to put there. And I'm also doing the middle sounds. We'll put the first and last, but if I wanted your word to say bad or bet or bit, what do you need to put in the middle? And that's another one we do.
And that's all. Like I said, we're missing one driver.
Thank you. Awesome.